Yeah, that's fine.
Hey, you sound good, Stephen.
Yeah, a little under the weather.
How was your trip? How was your trip?
It was lovely. Glad I got sick after the fact, not during it.
Just to clear this up, Stephen does not have COVID. He tested 3 times.
Yes.
And did
with
not have
multiple different tests, actually.
Yeah, and his wife does not have sickness. She's not down with the sickness currently.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, man. I came back, it was Good Friday, and then Saturday I was down for the count and thought I was getting better Sunday, and I feel like I'm getting worse now.
I think I know what happened.
What?
Did you invite Mickey Mouse into the bedroom?
Yeah, that might have happened.
Were you kissing Pluto? Oh, shit. Well, Steven's going to hack up a lung, and I'm going to take over the show today, and we're going to have a special guest, Manny Ortiz, who's coming on a little later to talk about...
My man, Manny.
What was that?
My man, Manny.
Who's this person talking?
This is not Stephen.
You know what you sound like? I think you sound like a form of Bill Clinton.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
That's what you sound like. Tell me that it's... What kind of cigar do you smoke?
Dude, that was the thing, man. This whole weekend, I didn't even have to get a cigar or anything.
Wait, are you Bill Clinton or
July.
Stephen right now? I don't know who I'm talking to. Is this Bill Clinton?
This is Stephen.
No, you sound like Bill Clinton.
Don't make me laugh. I'm gonna cough.
Don't make me laugh, Jared. When Hillary makes me laugh, things are gonna happen.
Oh man.
All right.
I'm down for the count though, for sure.
So hopefully we'll have Stephen back next week. And back into the RAWtalky day, or we'll just replace him with Vanessa because we can just bring Vanessa in.
Fine with me.
All right. So what we're going to do, I figure I'll do it this way. I will run the interview as soon as Steve and I are done talking. And then after the interview with Manny Ortiz, I will come back and do the solo stuff that I can do solo. And then that will be it. That'll be the episode. Cause I got to run. I got to go to...
You're leaving, right?
I'm leaving tomorrow morning, but I have bowling tonight. I've got to eat dinner before bowling. It's very important that I get a nice meal in me so that I can roll the ball properly. Roll the ball, not throw it. You alive?
I'm dying.
Bill Clinton is our special guest today. Hey, why don't you roll us into Manny Ortiz into this interview that you weren't on at the time?
Okay. Here is Manuel Ortiz, everybody. Have fun. Why would you make me roll into the interview that I was not a part of?
I thought it was funny. All right. Welcome to the new and improved RAWtalk, Manny.
Yay.
Is that like Kanye?
No, more like just yay. Yay.
Yay. Well, welcome anyway, Manny. It's good to see your face. Not that anybody can see your face. They're just listening to your voice as of now.
Yeah, thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah, so I asked Manny to come on, not just because Steven's under the weather. I was going to have Manny on even if Steven wasn't under the weather. But when I was in Chicago a few weeks back, Manny got to shoot a Cubs game as well. So we shot it together, and it was the first time that he was shooting a Cubs game. I was using the R3, he was using an A1, and now he has his pass to shoot any game anywhere this season just like I do, which is a good thing. And I decided to send him a 400-2.8 from Canon that it's a version 2, so it's a little older, and it's part of the fun to photographer thing. He'll be sending it back, or maybe we'll have you find someone to give a good home to it if you ever run into a kid who needs it. But
the 400's got a nice home here, so thanks.
I know it's tough when those things get sent in that you're like, oh, it's all mine. I don't want to give it up.
Not the 400.
Yeah, but
I'm just kidding.
But yeah. Being that I had a bunch sitting here, I sent one to Manny so he could take it out to the game, and he used the R3. So, Manny, how was it shooting your second game this time, but now with a 400-2.8?
So the first game I was using a 100 to 400 Sony, and it's night and day shooting that 400 millimeter. So I was at 405.6, I believe, on the Sony, and it's amazing at 400-2.8 the difference in the images. I mean, I looked at the images. I looked back at the images. I took the A1 to look at the one from the 400-2.8. I mean, literal, like it almost seems like a whole different, like just a whole different lighting scenario, but it was the same kind of game. It was a night game. The images popped out of the screen. They looked,
which they're going to,
yeah,
with, you know, a difference. When you brought the 100 to 400, I was like, Manny, where's the 2.8s? You know, but gear, like putting the lens aside, on the body front, what did you like? You know, because we can't sit here and say that we're going to compare a 400 2.8 on an R3 to an A1 with a 100 to 400. But what were the things that you liked about the R3 this time around, shooting the game with that?
Well, you know, I use the bodies all the time, but to be fair, I used about maybe 10% of their capabilities shooting portraits. So it's the first time using these bodies in the real world shooting sports. And the thing that makes the biggest difference for me in shooting the game is the autofocus. The autofocus of the R. I just felt like the R3 did less of focusing on people's faces in the background. It did more of staying on the baseball player. And for the most part, I shot wide. I shot wide area. I shot, you know, wide area AF. Sometimes I would go to a medium-sized box when it would constantly focus on the people's eyes in the background. The Canon did that much less in terms of the autofocus. And that made all the difference for me when photographing the batter in the picture. So,
did you feel that the Sony was missing the A1?
I don't feel like it was missing. I just felt like I had to always change out of wide where I like to be, because the action can happen anywhere. And I like being able to compose however I want. I'd have to go to medium, the medium box, and compose the batter in the middle of the frame if the camera started to focus on the faces in the background. And with the R3, not only that, but I was using eye control. I know a lot of people say that eye control isn't very consistent for them, but for me, it makes all the difference in the world, because if I look at the batter and it locks focus on the batter, I don't have to worry about it going to the background anymore. So yeah, it was definitely an improvement over the A1 with how I shoot.
Right. And for those who don't know, the eye control on Canon, it's literally that your eye looks somewhere and the focus has the opportunity to go there. Now, just because you look there, and this was one of the things that people weren't sure what was going to happen when it was first announced, they thought if you look there, it's going to focus there, but that's not the case. As long as your finger is pressed halfway down, say I was focusing on Manny, and he's in front of me, and if my finger's pressed halfway down, it's going to stay locked on him. Now, if Manny's wife is to the left, I'm like, aye, Manny's wife, and I'm looking at her, but it's not in it. The box knows that I have the opportunity to focus on her. If I just release my finger, right, I have to just take my finger off and then press it halfway down, it's going to lock onto her next.
Yep.
Because that's where I'm looking.
Yep.
And so I haven't used it for sports, but after hearing Manny's thoughts on using it, I may actually try it, because maybe it will stay on the subject that I want it to stay on. Maybe I'll try it with soccer too. If I want it to be on the goalie, maybe it will stay on the goalie more often.
Yeah, I don't blame you for using my wife as an example, because, you know, who wouldn't want to focus on that? But, you know, I'll tell you what, the eye tracking, I can't say it was perfect. I can't say that it was always perfect, because sometimes when I shoot, I'll leave my other eye open, one eye in the viewfinder, one eye open to, you know, I'm looking at the pitcher to see when he's going to pitch, you know, so I could, while looking at the batter, then I would have issues with the eye control, because both of my eyes would kind of move and then my eye would move away. So I would have to be strategic with how I use it. And then the eye control is that when I shoot vertical orientation, it does not work well. That is when I don't find it to be helpful. But thankfully I shot almost everything, in landscape orientation. And but yeah, it wasn't perfect, but I felt that it made me get more, like, there are shots that I probably wouldn't have gotten, because that split second moment switching autofocusing modes would have gotten a different outcome. Like the third base, if I'm shooting from the first base side and the guy on third base is taking a lead and he's looking at the pitcher, I wish I could show the photo on here, but I was taking photos of the pitcher. I moved my eye, I looked to the guy at third base, and I locked onto him. I felt like any other camera, I would have to change focusing modes, go back to him. I probably would have lost that certain expression or whatever, that certain right. shot. or it would have gotten the baseball coach that was next to him, the running coach, or the people in the background. So I was able to precisely pick him. And yeah, it's just vicinity. The little circle goes around the runner. It locks onto him. Bam, I get the shot. And then I can look back at the pitcher, and it's like magic.
So what'd you learn going from the first game when we looked at, I looked at some of your images to the second game? What'd you learn? What'd you take away from it?
Well, I looked at a lot of your shots as well to see what I was doing wrong, and just a lot of composition, a lot of what to look for in terms of the action going on in the field, and a lot more predicting where the action is going to be. So, I used to play baseball all the time, a little rusty, but just knowing the game allowed me to really predict the action, and that made all the difference. So.
And how did you talk to anybody the second time?
Any lot of people.
Photographers? Did you?
A lot of people. Yeah. The first time you saw me, I was in shock, almost like the social anxiety kept me in a little shell, and I was just like taking it all in. The second time I was like a butterfly. I was talking to everybody, and that comfort allowed me to just kind of now actually do good photography and not just wing it, So.
Well, that's good. Are you going to go back?
Definitely. I'm going back with
I'm
going back with the R7, and then hopefully with the Z9 soon with the 400 4.5 if they ever send that to me.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you have the pass because you got 2 stadiums to go to. So you've got more than what I got because you've got the Black Sox, aka the White Sox, and the Cubs.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's not bad at all. And what about the megapixels? Was there any difference between having the 24 and the 50?
I thought there was going to be a bigger difference. With baseball, you got the right lens. You don't need to do that much cropping. There's only so much cropping you can do on a field with a 400 millimeter, no matter where you point it at. So I felt that when I was cropping into the images on R3, I didn't have an issue with like losing resolution. So, especially since I post on social media, you can't even tell. I'm even cropping on the phone. I'm changing from horizontal orientation to vertical orientation on my phone, and there's so much detail still. So I think for baseball,
when it's small, it's not going to be.
Yeah. And for baseball, I don't need that cropping anyways when you have the right equipment. So yeah.
Well, that's always an interesting take because we have access to the A1, the Z9, and the R3, and it's interesting to hear other photographers talk about using the R3 these days because I think when people pick up the R3, the first thing they say is, "Oh my God, this thing is so light," and then the other thing they say is, "It actually fits in my hand," and that's a lot of the feedback that I've given Sony. It's like I know that you guys love to miniaturize stuff, and I know that you love the way your body doesn't have a grip on it built in, but I mean, I don't think you're going to change, but it would be nice if you did change to make the body feel better, to make the shutter button feel better.
So I was just talking to Ken Griffey about that, about the camera bodies and how the R3, it does feel like when I'm out in an environment like that, it just feels like, I'm taking your verbiage here. It feels like a pro body in your hand versus what the A1 feels like. But it's always a pro and con, right? Because if all you do is sports, this is amazing. But I also do portraits and I also do other stuff. I'm like, that's where I love the A1. I love the portability. I love being able to take the grip off and be super portable. But I do agree that the R3 is it feels like a pro body. Everything feels premium on there, So
yeah. Well, with Junior, he was Nikon. Then he went to the A1, and then I made a connection so he could play with an R3. And it's just interesting, his take on it is the feel of the R3 just feels great in the hands.
It does. And little by little, that's becoming even more important thing nowadays with the gap just being complete. Like there's such a small gap between these top cameras. Which one feels better in the hand? Which one has better glass? More glass? All those things matter more. And the R3 does feel like, I like the Z9. I love the way the Z9 feels in the hand. The problem is that the weight, it does have so much more weight. The R3 feels like an empty body in my hand. It feels like an empty shell, which is, I mean, no one else has done that before. Yeah. So
what are you gonna? I mean, I know you like the Z9. You bought a Z9.
Yep.
Do you still have it?
I do have it.
You should sell it. You should sell it to someone who can't get one.
I thought about that because they probably get more use out of it. I'm in a place where it's hard to let it go because I think that Nikon will have some good glass coming, and I want to be there for it, and I want to have the body for it. But that's the reason why I'm keeping it. Honestly, I don't want to regret letting it go.
I got you. So by the time this comes out, they'll have a new firmware for the Z9. They'll have a 2.10.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Do you know that yet?
I don't know that yet, but I'm not looking. I really don't care as much as because with the firmware 2, like I did get a lot of great things, but I didn't notice much of an improvement when it came to autofocus and the way it would find subjects that are not actually there. And so for me, it's nice to have all these extra features, but the core features, the main thing, it was not improved. I didn't see any improvement. So
yeah, so what they're talking about with this one is they're adding the variable shutter rate. So just like Sony and Canon have the option to do a variable shutter speed of 1/840th.594 of a second, the Nikon's going to add the same thing, which was one of the features I said at the very beginning. I'm like, you guys don't have a shutter. You actually don't. You barely have anti-flicker. What are we going to do? Why don't we have variable shutter? So they did work that in there. And then now they're saying that you're going to have better autofocus on smaller objects and better tracking when it comes to IAF, which is all stuff. See, my whole take on it is they suggested shooting sports with dynamic area AF, which is the old way I used to shoot sports. And it doesn't make sense to shoot a mirrorless camera the DSLR way. Whereas with the Canon and the Sony, we just shoot it and the autofocus does go where it needs to go, regardless of portrait or action. And so we'll see if their updates, I always say this, their updates aren't going to be major. There's only so much they can do to tweak it and make it better, that it's not just going to be night and day like people expected with the Z6 and the Z6 II. They're like, this new firmware is going to majorly make my camera work now, and it just doesn't.
Yeah. The more I think about this stuff, and I have the Z9, and of course I only use like 10% of the features. So for me, it's fine, but that's why I'm anxious to take it out to the baseball field. I'm always like hesitant to say like, oh yeah, the Z9 is a step behind the other guys, because when someone is listening to me say that, they're hearing, oh wow, like he's either ragging on the Z9 or if you know how to use your gear, you can get it. And I see other people using the Z9 in the sports, like at Wrigley Field. There was another guy with a Z9, you know him, and I'm sure his stuff is tack sharp all the time. And of course, just like anything, you can make adjustments. If the Z9 was my main camera, I can make adjustments, and I could use that camera like just, like rarely miss anything. But when you have all three cameras, it just puts everything in perspective. It's not that the Z9 is not capable. It's just a little bit behind, in my opinion. And I don't want to have to change how I shoot.
You're tiptoeing. You are tiptoeing way too much around that. You're trying to make sure that people don't give you shit.
No, it's me just looking at it from different perspectives. That's all.
I'm in the same boat as you, and I totally understand what you're saying. Is just because you said that it's not up to par in comparison to the other, it's slightly behind, doesn't make it a bad camera. And I've gotten great results with the Z9, and I also still continue to feel like I'm fighting it. And so I don't feel like I fight the R3, and I don't feel like I fight the A1. So there's all of that.
Well, I guess for me, I got to see for myself. I have not shot the events. I have not shot at Wrigley Field with the Z9, so it's hard for me to talk about it in a sports, comparing it to them, and soon I will find out. But for video, at least, I just did a video one. It's almost done. Yeah, there is, that's the one that kind of falls behind most of the time. Sometimes it, pulls up ahead, but there is an inconsistency there with, especially the subject tracking and the box kind of veering off and doing its own thing. But the A1 also does it. So again, it's just so much. There's so much to go into when it comes to that. But anyways.
Yeah, still a heck of a lot better than where we were with all the other
Huge
stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Now I made a note here to talk about focus and not autofocus, but like our own particular type of focus. Like I realize that today I have a lot to get done because tomorrow I'm heading to Portland, Maine for the bowling thing for a couple days from Wednesday till Monday, and I'm under the gun to get a lot of stuff done, and I'm actually able to get a lot of stuff done and focus because I'm under the gun. Whereas if it was just me here in the studio by myself without having to worry about going away tomorrow, I'd be twiddling my thumbs most of the day, not able to focus and not able to get it done. I'd get some stuff done, not everything, but in this case, I just feel like today I was able to get some shit done that needed to get done. Where do you fall in that mix? Because I know how you are.
Yeah, well, but I mean, it's the same thing with me. Probably even more amplified, because with ADHD, that's exactly if you don't feel the pressure to do something and it doesn't provide like dopamine, you don't want to do it. You just procrastinate. So I usually operate just like you. Well, at least right now, I do everything last minute, unless it's something that I'm passionate about, something that I want to do.
Yeah, I'm not, but I don't like leaving things till last minute.
I wish. Oh, I hate it, but I wish I could rewire my brain.
Yeah, I'm able to focus. I don't know if I have ADHD or ADD or any of it. I personally don't need.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't feel like I need to do anything there, because when I need to focus, I focus. When I don't need to focus, I'm still focused on what I need to do. But I also sit there and go, you know what? Fuck it. I don't feel like doing this. I'm not going to do it. And that's where I'm at for most of the time. So what's new and exciting? What are you working on? What should people look forward to with you for the summer?
Well, I just been trying to, with this whole social media thing and trying to stay relevant, relevancy, because I feel like I'm almost fighting, because I've seen all my numbers drop on YouTube and everything like that. And, it's all good. It's just maybe my older videos are not doing as great, but I'm taking this opportunity to try to reinvent myself in a way. And when I say reinvent, I mean expand a little bit. So I don't want to just only do portraiture. I also want to add more tools to my toolbox. So that's why I'm getting into sports. I'm grateful that door opened. And so I definitely want to be able to also provide a perspective for sports, for longer telephoto stuff, just add more tools to my repertoire for sure.
Yeah. That's cool. Any new products coming?
I wish I could. No, actually, I don't know of any. Well, I know of a couple, but I don't know.
Your products, not camera gear stuff. I want you, like question. Presets.
Yeah, no.
No.
My products, honestly, I don't know right now. I don't know. I'm so focused on family and stuff like that. I'm not worried about, trying to do that right at this moment. But I'm just trying to. The family balance already has me so busy that I'm just like, it's unsurvivable. Just create videos, be with my family. So yeah. What about you?
I got stuff I want to do. I got products that we want to work on. FroPack 4. I want to make my new video guide. Well, I have the outline for the video guide. We just have to lock down and just say, like, we're fucking doing it. We're going to do it in pieces. We're going to get it done. It's going to be different than what I've done before. I really think that people enjoy seeing a photo shoot with you on it, and going into do 3 or 4 shoots where before the shoot we talk about what our focus is, because I don't want to just go out and be like, I'm just going to go get a photo story. It's like, no, this situation is going to be lower light. This one's going to be bright. We're going to try and capture action. This one, I'm going to use an older camera and show you how it's done, or I'm going to only set it to single shot and not multiple shots just to show you. And I'm going to move focusing points around, even though in this day and age, you don't need that. And so with that, I'm going to showcase those shoots, and there's going to be an all-encompassing shoot at the end that takes the portraits and the low light and everything and puts it all together. But you're going to get before the shoot, we're going to discuss it. We're going to talk about what gear's coming on the shoot. Then we're going to do the shoot. And obviously, you're there with me. And then after, we're going to break down what I did right, what I don't think I did right, what issues did I run into. Then we go into the culling process, which is something people never get to see. We're going to put all the pictures in the computer. We're going to go through, and I'm going to select the keepers. I'm going to edit them, probably not on camera, and then we're going to go over how I went from, say, 1,000 pictures down to the best 40, right? And I think some people might be turned off because they'll be like, well, this is too long. I don't want to watch it. But the truth of the matter, this is what it takes to make it. This is what it takes to do a shoot. It takes this amount of time. So I want people to understand that you don't just take your pictures and then it's done. You take your pictures and you have to pick the best of the best with honors, sir. And I want to show people what's good and what's not good and help them pick the best. And then I'm going to go through a bunch of older shoots that I have where you're not actually on the shoot with me, but I'm going to break it down, go back to the older images so people can see what I was shooting then and see that, look, I wasn't always the best, but let me show you the best of the best. That's what I'm going to be working on.
See, I just got a big idea from what you just did right now is taking the process from the beginning to the end. Like, I'm sure people would like to know what I do from beginning to end and all the little things that I do in between. And I'm like, oh, that's a great idea for a course, right? Not for a video. Those videos don't do well. But for a course, it's great. Yeah. But pulling the trigger on it, right? The planning process, all that shit, I end up not doing it. And that's what I've been plagued with for a long time.
Well, I've been wanting to do this since probably before the pandemic, but I've gotten to a place where I understand that stuff is going to get done when it's going to get done, when the time is right. And I need to, massage that a little bit, but I also understand that if we start selling a product, we'll make money when that product comes out, right? It's just pushing it down the road a little bit. It's perfectly fine. But I do want to focus on it before this year is up and focus on FroPack 4 and have those products because, yeah, you're right. Those videos won't do well on YouTube on their own, but people that really want to learn are going to purchase that because they want to learn and see how it's actually done. And for the $150 that I'll probably charge for it versus the $20,000 plus a year to go to a college, you're going to learn a hell of a lot more off of my video than you are going to from going to school.
You can learn everything pretty much on the internet. Yeah,
that's true. Anything else you want to add before I get back to yelling at the microphone myself?
Okay, I need you to spare the Z9 a little bit. No, actually, you can go in on them. No, actually, let me see. No, there's really nothing else to add.
No,
not really.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you as always coming on and sharing your insight.
Thanks. I wish I could just go on my own, but I'm that kind of person. You have to ask questions to get something out of me, or else I'm just like a big brain fog, So
I'm asking you questions.
Yeah, but I'm not as interesting as you, so got nothing to talk about.
All right, Walmart Drake, you got stuff to talk about. So when's the next game you're shooting?
I was gonna go tonight. It's gonna be rain. There's gonna be rain, and I was gonna put the Ninja on the R7 to show the EVF, but I can't be in the rain with the Ninja on my camera, so I'm gonna just wait.
You just have to cover it up.
I don't want to. I'd rather just go to a game that's sunny.
I got you.
But
I hear you. It's a pain in the ass. Well, it should be easier to shoot with a 400-2.8 with that. I was using a 100 to 500 the other day at the Phillies with the R7 and the EVF recorder and hand holding it. So
crazy.
It was a little awkward, but I still got some good stuff. Out of it.
Yeah, I'm probably going to put my 200 mil on it just so I can, so I'm not fighting for, cutting off toes and heads. So.
Yeah, crop factor, 620 millimeters with the 400-2.8. 70 to 200 is going to give you a 320 millimeter or something. It's a pretty good range with the 70 to 200.
Yeah, I threw the R7 on the 400 at the Wrigley game, and horizontal I could barely fit the batter in there. So I was like, okay.
Oh, you won't. Well, you guys are also further away there. But yeah, you could focus on the outfielder. You could focus across the way on the first baseman, second baseman with that and fill the frame. So there's lots of options to do.
For sure, yeah.
So, all right. I'm going to get back to the rest of my Poddy McPodcast, and I appreciate you coming on.
All right, man. Take care. Talk to you.
All right. Thank you. All right. So that was Manny Ortiz with a little bit of Stephen. Well, you already got Stephen at the beginning, and it's unfortunate he came home sick. At least it's not the COVID again, and hopefully he's a little better next week. So it's pretty cool that Manny and I were able to shoot some of those games together, and he now has that 400-2.8 to take out there, as well as a place to go test out gear outside of the portrait world. That's why I sent him out that 400, and so he can go shoot that. But yeah, taking out a Z9 and taking out an A1 and testing out gear or the R7 is going to be really helpful for him to change up the types of videos that he's making, and that's cool. And that's always fun. That's why occasionally I like to do portraits, right? Change it up. Do something a little different. Okay, so I'm not going to do user questions this week since we've got that interview and that quick beginning with Stephen, but there were a couple of things I wanted to talk about in their posts, and they all originated on Twitter this time, and I rarely use Twitter, at Frono's Photo. I rarely use it because I think Twitter actually sucks, contrary to popular belief, but some people wrote some stupid shit, and I'm not going to sit back when someone's trying to drag my name through the mud. Depends on how it's being dragged, right? If it's certain public, there's certain things you just let go, but sometimes you're just like, are you fucking kidding me? And you got to say something. So this guy on Twitter wrote, let's see, where did this was before I replied to him. The guy wrote, you know, as well as, so someone, okay. I know I need to step back for a second. This guy is referring to there's comments on YouTube that happen that we have no control of. They are spammer comments. They're trying to get people to call them on Telegram, and they leave comments under my videos purporting to be me. So they have my logo, and my name might be somewhere in the in their username, but it's clearly not me because it doesn't have a check mark. And if you go to their channel, they have no videos, right? So this person is going, you know as well, and this is public, you know as well as I, winning costs nothing. I have more proof, if required, and emails of each. Jared Polin, 3 emails address involved. Matt Granger, 2 email addresses involved. Tony Northrup is no different, though. I didn't escalate the matter to email. And I replied back, dude, are you seriously thinking all 3 of us are running a scam? Click on the freaking names of the scammers' accounts and you'll see it's clearly not us. Come on, use your damn head and think and actually look at the damn profiles. That's the best way that I could have done it. And it's like, I just received another one from Grays of Westminster and they deleted it promptly. Did you highlight the comment in your comment section, ? That's what led me to believe it was actually you as well as the other 2. And I'm like, first off, YouTube, if you get a comment reply to your comment from anybody, it's going to highlight yours. That's just YouTube trying to say, oh, someone commented, you should reply back, because they know that interaction is what they want. And so I put that public, are you serious about this? And a lot of people commented back, right? And this guy started to comment back. Let me see if all these tweets show up somewhere. And I said, maybe because it's the only comment, I have no idea. Did you send them money and get scammed? I said to him. And I was like, I get hundreds, if not thousands of comments. I can't police every single one on 3,500 videos. And he wrote, if it isn't you, I suggest you report them for identity theft on Telegram. I just now got a call from the Telegram account posing as you after I told them to prove it was you. And I'm like, there it is. You fell for them. I don't even have a Telegram account. You need to be smarter than to fall for a spam comment that's clearly not any of us. I hope you didn't send them money, but going after us as if this is our fault is pretty bad. And that's why I went and made the video. And I was like, this is pure absurdity that someone could think we're running scams on our videos via the comments. Anyone with an ounce of common sense would click on the scammer's profile and see if they are really us, which clearly they are not. They have no videos on their channel, right? On their channels. And I think the guy ended up taking most of his stuff down. And let's see. He also then, he's trying to defend himself by saying, thank you for your time. And that's why I made this public, to enable contacting you or the others. And it's just like, well, no, you made this public because you thought we were scamming you, and they're not. And I hate to, call people out on certain things, but it's really frustrating when someone's going all up and down being like, you guys are scammers. And I saw that Tony Northrup commented back too. It was like, I'm with Jared. We have nothing to do with this. This is a problem, and we know it's a problem. And we report it to YouTube. So how it works is, if a bad comment is there that we don't like, we report it as spam, and then we hit hide commenter. So it hides every one of their comments that they make. But then they go ahead and they make Jared Polin -2 on whatever, and then they try to put it out into the world. And there's really nothing we can do. And the hope is that people are actually smart and realize that why would we ask you for shipping money to send you free prize, right? A free prize. That's not how it works. I'm not going to scam someone. I'm going to call you directly. It's going to come from an @FronosPhoto email address directly. I'm going to get you on Zoom so you see that it's me, or you're going to do a FaceTime call and it's going to be real, right? Not someone saying on Telegram purporting to be me. That's just not how it works. That's just not how it works. So anyway, let's move on to the second thing that happened, and this was today. I had to put this out into the world because I went onto Twitter because I check on occasion, and this person with the handle number 2 ND_1776, that's a great name, wrote this. And this is a quote, "Since I found out @FronosPhoto was a ragging libtard, I never wore any of the shirts I bought from him ever again. Well, today I found a great use for it, cleaning a cast iron frying pan." There's a lot wrong with this, other than he meant to say raging libtard, not ragging libtard. And as many people have pointed out since I shared this and thanked them, so what I wrote was, let me get to what I wrote. What did I write, Jared? Hello, Jared. Jared. Click on my name. Tweets. I wrote, "Thanks for the support. If you'd like to purchase some I Shoot Raw shirts to use as you see fit, ... because it's your choice and all, head on over to store.fronosphoto.com. It makes for a great rag. Thanks for pointing that out, Second Amendment guy. You rock." So I just put that public because I shared that all over. I shared that on Instagram. I shared that on Facebook. And it's funny because, I guess controversy is all that ever gets likes on Facebook now, because it has 422 comments and 2,600 likes. And a lot of people were pointing out, well, dude, that's not how you clean a cast iron pan. Let's see. What else? Where people are like, it's not how you clean a cast iron pan. Yeah. The award for having no clue how to clean cast iron goes to. It was important to him he should have done his research before ordering. Yeah, so people left the comments. I haven't read these comments, so I'm kind of going through right now and looking. Let's see. Nice to tag you, and the shirts were purchased, still supported you. He showed you buying your merch and giving you money. That's right. Yeah, they'll learn. He should buy a whole lot more Fronos Photo shirts to burn and really show him what he thinks. Yeah, so I don't even know if I want to go down this rabbit hole of negativity, but, you got to point some stuff out. You can't hate. At least we know the quality is good. Cast iron is pretty tough. Way to be on finding great quality materials, Fronos. We do actually use great materials. I might not agree with everything politically, Jared, on everything politically, but I have learned a ton about photography from him, and his bobblehead has been sitting on my desk for a long time. I wish we could disagree with people without shutting them out. Liberal or not, you have an amazing content. I will definitely continue to support, and that's from a right-wing individual. Thank you, right-wing individual. I love how the guy who makes fun of us for supposedly being easily triggered is easily triggered. Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because that's what I dealt with early in the morning. And it's not even like dealt with in a bad way, but it's kind of funny. But I used it. So I used it as an opportunity to sell more shirts, which I actually haven't even logged in to see if I sold more shirts. Let me log in right now and see if we did sell a bunch of shirts. I know somebody was like, I didn't buy a shirt, but I'm going to buy a shirt now. So I'm logging in. I'm clicking on the button because I outsource this. I used to do it myself, and I may bring it back in-house one more time, or I may do something different. Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's Joe Biden. Come on, man. Come on, man. Really, man? Really, man? It won't let me log in, so I guess I'm not going to deal with this right now. I'll have to check on that a little later. But yeah, you just don't always have to sit back, right? You don't always sit back and say nothing. Every once in a while, you got to say something. And I thought it was funny to screen grab what the guy said. And now he's going back on Twitter talking to all the other people I don't know. I don't want to fight. I don't really want to argue with anybody. I just thought it was kind of funny that they were pointing that out, and they used my shirt for a rag, and I thanked them for using my shirt and buying it, and thank you. And then that gives me publicity, and then that helps me sell more shirts. So I'm a big proponent of you can't make everybody happy. As my dad always said, it's better to make 50%, or it's better to have 50% of the people love you, 50% of the people hate you, than have 100% not give a shit. And I'll live by that. You're not going to make everybody happy. You try to make everybody happy, you make nobody happy. And I don't want to be there. I don't want to be the make nobody happy type of guy. I want to just make the people that are happy going to be happy. The people that are not going to be happy are not going to be happy. So be it. So be it, so forth, so be it, so whatever. And that's what it's going to be. You can give me your feedback, though, if you'd like, on my text line. I'm just looking for the text line paper. It's 313-710-9729, 313-710-9729. You can send it. I got to check up on some of the questions that have been coming in. I've been super busy, and I'm going away to Portland, Oregon from Portland, Maine. Hopefully I land in the right airport. Portland, Maine, from Wednesday to Monday morning. I have like a 6 a.m. flight out of there, and it's for a bowling. It's for the PBA team event. They're having team events, the series, the league, and I hear it's going to be fun, and I'm looking forward to eating some lobster rolls without the roll. Just some lobster roll without the roll, because that's me. So yeah, I'll be traveling around. Got a lot of stuff done today. And it's not like I'll be in a third world country. I'll be around. I'll be able to do work from the road. I'll be posting photo news fix and whatever needs to be posted. I just got to stop now because I got to go eat and I got to get ready for bowling. So give me a call. Text me on that link. Hopefully Stephen feels better for next week, and then we're able to bring him back on and get him caught up, and that's it. It's going to be episode 6, guys. RAWtalk episode 6. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for listening. Jared Polin, FronosPhoto.com. See ya.